This is State of Belief coverage of the Democratic Convention across America. I'm Welton Gaddy. My guest is Rabbi Jack Moline, president of Interfaith Alliance. Jack, welcome.
Thank you, Welton. It's good to be here.
You know what? The first question I've got, and we can't take the rest of the day to say this, is how different is our coverage of the Democratic Convention this year than what it's been the other years we've enjoyed doing it together?
Boy, oh boy. I remember 4 years ago, and it was, I think at this time of year, we were in Philadelphia. At least the convention was in Philadelphia. You and I think were staying in Maine. And we just roamed the halls and talked to everybody. Now we sort of have to roam the internet to talk to anybody.
Yeah, we can't just grab someone and say, come over here, we want to talk to you. So what else is different this year, Jack?
Well, look, we all know that the country's in a very different place than it was 4 years ago. We are now looking at dealing with a quantum shift in American politics, and particularly in the way we talk about the religious communities involvement in American politics. And it is a mystery to me. I remember, Welton, when I had the honor of being at your retirement event from your pulpit. I was there with Shelley Wright, and she was expressing concern about the upcoming election. And I said to her, you don't have to worry about anything. The Republic will stand. And she has reminded me of that. And I'm not quite as certain of it as I was 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And for a whole lot of different reasons, which I am guessing will appear one way or another all through the 4 days of this week.
Yes, I think that something that we should be watching at this convention, especially from the Interfaith Alliance perspective, is the lifting up of faith voices and voices that talk about faith. I've had a little bit of insight into the program and have been invited to participate in the Interfaith Council meeting, which is the first day of the convention today, Monday afternoon, and also consulted with one of the speakers who's going to be speaking at the main event on Thursday night. And faith is playing a much more central role in this convention than I think it ever has before.
And I would think that since you're the president of Interfaith Alliance, and I've been there once, that we are both eager to see a real variety of religions present in this meeting.
Well, I can tell you that that's going to be the case. It's sort of Abrahamic heavy on Thursday night. But other faith communities and communities that espouse a non-deistic set of beliefs are also going to be featured. In fact, the chair of the Interfaith Council is Sarah Levin, who I suspect will be a guest later this week, and she is a secularist. So I think that maybe the Dems have finally gotten a broader sense of what it means to protect conscience and independence in this country.
Jack, what would you really like to see from the vantage point of Interfaith Alliance? Why is it important for us to be looking over the shoulders of the people that are meeting there?
Well, we have to be very careful that this newfound interest in the faith community, or perhaps I should say the newfound focus on the faith community, doesn't tip into the kinds of inappropriate conversations that sometimes happen on the campaign trail and that the people who are looking to get their candidates elected don't see faith as a transactional or political tool to be used, but rather is respected as the foundation of a belief system that is, as I like to say, the pluribus that makes us unum. And that's what we will be watching for, Democrats and Republicans alike.
And I'm being a little bit picky here, but what do we not want to hear over against what we want to hear when it comes to religion?
The one thing I never want to hear, whether it's from a political leader or from a religious leader, is if you're a Jew, you can't vote for so-and-so. If you're a Catholic, you have to vote for so-and-so. If you're a Hindu, you may not vote for so-and-so. If you're a Muslim, you must vote for so-and-so. That is, I think, as close to a violation of the Constitution as anybody can ever come. And we advise candidates of that. We advise faith leaders of that.
You know, Jack, it reminds me, and I thought about it as we were getting ready to talk. My first pastorate was in Louisville, Kentucky, and I hadn't been in the church long, and I got a card from a colleague in the Baptist tradition telling me that the election was on and who I needed to vote for because it was a Baptist. And besides that, the person on the other side was in your tradition. It made me mad. It made me mad. And he made me feel guilty because he said, you ought to be voting for your own Baptist heritage. And I thought, look, I'm never going to do that. So I'm so glad you said that. And I'm so glad that when we talk about religion in these kinds of meetings, and certainly in these national meetings with Democrats and Republicans, we can deal with religion with integrity rather than using that for our own way of saying, you need to vote for my candidate.
And, you know, as you know, I mean, we're both saying things we both know. There is nothing to prevent you as a Baptist minister, me as a rabbi, or anybody else who's clergy from advocating on behalf of the candidate in whom they believe for whatever reason they want to believe. If your friend wanted to write to you and say, I believe in this guy and what he stands for and he has my values, that's fine. The part that isn't fine, as you pointed out, is saying, stick to your own kind.
Well, Jack, I am so glad that you and I got to talk about this right here at the beginning of the week. We'll have other opportunities to do that.
So that's right. And if I may, I'd like to make one prediction. That is that by the end of the week, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be the nominees of the Democratic Party for president.
See, there it is. You got an inside picture. We will be right here talking about the state of belief coverage of the Democratic National Convention. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.